This movie was pretty interesting, to say the least. And I got to tell you, if you decide to watch this movie, this is one where you really, really have to pay very close attention to everything that's being said and done. And by any chance, if you happen to, if you're watching it at home and you have to get up to do anything, pause it because you don't want to miss a word. And, if you go to the movies, make sure you got everything you need to do before you hit that screen because you're going to want to be glued to it. So, Nefarious is a simple two-hander about a psychological/theological debate between a condemned mass murderer who says he's possessed by a demon and the atheist psychologist sent to determine if he's sane enough to execute. All right, so let's break that down just a little bit. A two-hander is basically a play or a movie where there's only two main characters for the most part. So, that's pretty much what this was. And those two main characters were, so there was the condemned mass murderer, that was Edward Wayne Brady, who was played by Sean Patrick Flanery. And then you also have the atheist psychologist by the name of James Martin, and he was played by Jordan Belfi. Sent to determine if he's sane enough to execute. So to those of you who are a little bit confused by that or unaware of how that works, there is a law that states that you can't legally execute an insane person. And there's plenty of legal dramas and crime shows that have also touched on that. So you've seen Law and Order, you've seen Criminal Minds. They've talked about that. Many other shows touched on that as well. Now here's the rest of it. So on the day of his scheduled execution, a convicted serial killer tells a psychiatrist that he's a demon who can possess his body. As the evaluation ends, he also tells the doctor that he will soon commit 3 murders of his own. Again, when you watch the movie, and then you'll ask yourself, did he actually commit 3 murders of his own? I'm not going to spoil that part. I'm not going to really say anything about that. I will say that, and then so you had one other person in there who had a semi-prominent role in the movie. That was somebody by the name of Tom Ohmer, and his character's name in there was Warden Moss. So he was the warden. Now, let's get to some of the reviews, and I'll try to get to the shorter reviews, and I'm not going to get to the really long ones that basically spoil the movie. So here's the ratings and the reviews. Some of it is pretty mixed. Among Google audiences and Google users, you have 94 to 95%. Internet Movie Database, 67%. Rotten Tomatoes, 33%. Fandango, 96%. So a lot of it was good. Of course, Rotten Tomatoes had to be the one to just go down with it. So let's see what some of the reviews here say. A 1-star on here says, this is by somebody named Juanita. As a spirit-filled believer, I found this film to be not only incredibly disappointing, but extremely offensive. The fact that it has received so many endorsements by those who say they are Christians is a testament in itself to the wicked way in which the enemy schemes to deceive human beings, most especially those who have claimed their identity as children of God. The movie gave Satan a platform from which to speak into the lives of believers and non-believers alike. How dare we allow Satan so much screen time to boast over his demonic agenda and trash our Father in heaven without at the very least pointing viewers to the hope we have in the one who already gave us the victory over the demonic forces of hell when he died for our freedom. The movie takes the viewer's eyes off God and places them on to Satan. It drastically exaggerates the power of the enemy and in no way spoke to the redemption and deliverance available to us through our Savior, Jesus Christ. I am shocked that there wasn't one discerning born-again believer in the movie who understood the authority given to them by Jesus Christ to intervene on behalf of the suffering, possessed man. It is no secret to me that much of what was said in the film regarding the way in which Satan seeks to destroy God's creation is true. However, Satan does not have the final word as is shown in this movie, and it is a grave misstep to portray it as such. This movie does not offer any hope for the oppressed, nor does it answer any questions for those who do not know Christ. There was no clear message of deliverance, no solution, and no gospel presented to audience members. In my opinion, the film Nefarious is the enemy's way of winning back ground in the media, which was already claimed for the kingdom of heaven by other shows that have recently been produced, such as The Chosen and The Jesus Revolution. Shame on us for allowing it. Wow. That sounded powerful. It sounds like that person really spoke from the heart. And look, I'm not, and some of you are probably looking at this like, okay, this is a little bit different here. But again, I'm going to try my best with this here. I actually wasn't prepared for something like that. Now, again, with every show, movie, and game that I talk about on here, and as we know, there's not going to be a perfect thing, okay? Each one is going to have at least 1 5-star, each one is going to have at least 1 star, and each one is going to have something in the middle. So, to people who call themselves, who claim to be Christians who saw the movie, do you feel the same way? I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, it sounds like there is an element of truth to that, but at the same time, I don't know if that's what the writers were trying to do. Now, again, this person is saying, so did they do that intentionally or unintentionally? Was it a conscious decision? Was it subconscious? I don't know, to tell you the truth. You would have to watch the movie for yourself to understand it. The movie's about 97 minutes long. Let me see what the 2 stars say. This one right here says, from Michael, not a horror movie. Unless you are horrified by the thought of being preached to for most of the runtime of this film. If that's the case, then you will definitely be horrified. This is a conservative Christian idea of a psychological thriller. They tried so hard not to be overt in the fact that they were making a deeply right-slanted film, then threw all that out the window by ending this thing with a segment of the protagonist on the actual Glenn Beck show. Good editing, better than average acting for this type of film, but so preachy, I could have left after the first act. This movie is not entertaining at all. That's probably because it was not made to be entertainment. It was meant to make a statement about all of the evil in the world. It does that effectively. I expected to see a movie, and I guess I kind of got that, but barely. To make it a real movie for me, it would need to have some things. One thing it was missing was music to bring intensity to the scenes and additional storylines to break the tension or bring depth to the characters. Alas, these characters were unidimensional. Okay. Wow. Okay, I wasn't prepared for that one. I don't even know if that's a word or if they just happened to misspell something, but this movie had a predictable story arc and therefore did not keep me on the edge of my seat. So would I see it again? No. Would I recommend it to my Christian friends? No. Am I glad I watched it? Sort of. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. The only thing nefarious about this movie are right-wing... okay. All right. Let's get to the 3 stars. The movie is a little bit more controversial than I thought. Most of the reviews on it are pretty good. 4 star. Great job by Sean Patrick Flanery as demonic death row inmate leads. Make this a pretty compelling watch despite a predictable script and obligatory Glenn Beck cameo. Strong production value adds to cinematic punch. Kudos for relying on strong acting in lieu of seen that a zillion times demon special effects. Theater viewing added to impact. Recommend. Okay, and the rest of this is really, really long, and it looks like the rest of that kind of spoils it. So that's about all I'm going to say for that. And congratulations to the actors and the actresses who put this together, and the producers and directors and everybody who put this movie together. You made your success. Again, I don't know what the budget was, but it couldn't have been that much. I'm guessing maybe even I would be able to say it was probably 2 or 3 million at most. I can take it a step further. I would even, maybe if I could say 4 million. The budget on this movie probably was around 4 million. So far, the box office is 4.8 million, which means they made at least 800,000 off of it. And so you have Patrick Flanery as Nefarious, aka Ed Brady, Jordan Belfi as Dr. James Martin, Tom Ohmer as Warden Moss, and then you have a number of other people in this movie. Some of them are unnamed, and they just play as roles as officers and other people. You have Eric Hansen, James Healy, Stelio Savante, Maura Corsini, Cameron Arnett, Robert Peters, Jared LeMaster, Daniel Martin Berkey, Sarah Hernandez, and Tina Toner. So, and then of course Glenn Beck, who was on Headline News before he had a cameo appearance here. He was probably in the movie for a good 3 minutes. So, go ahead and watch the movie for yourself. It's still in theaters. It's not in every theater. It's only in selected theaters. So go to Fandango, check it out. Or if you want to wait till they stream it, it's going to be either on Netflix or Hulu or Peacock or HBO Max. Maybe Paramount Plus, one of them. For sure not Disney. I think that's obvious. And if it's not on them, it'll probably be available to rent or buy on Amazon or YouTube. So go ahead and check the movie for yourself, read the reviews, make your own opinion. And that's all I'm going to say for this video. I got plenty of other shows and movies to talk about.